Ho ho ho, and guten Tag, fellow kinda critics. For those that hate JJ's Abrams' name on things, then don't worry. Overlord is a creative breath of fresh air that brings the DVD subgenre popularized today now by video games to a general audience that will probably watch The Grinch rather than about American soldiers murdering Nazi zombies in Overlord. Director Julius Avery, whose last film, Son of a Gun, had a notable cast that was hyper-stylized action crime thriller that made a bid over $1,000 in the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. Yet they give him a budget of $30 million for Overlord. On top of that, they have the writers behind the first Hunger Games, Captain Phillips, The Revenant, and Martyrs. Looking at the work that we have from these people that are coming together, as well as having the influence of producer J.J. Abrams, this could have been a really disappointing film. One that attempts to cater nostalgia of the era of grindhouse films, or even catered its sensibilities and craft to make a homage of World War II movies that would have cheapened the experience and bored the audience to tears. And at worst, it could have extended and rewrote historic sensibilities to serve an agenda that would have felt unnatural, pandering, and insulting. Instead, we get a simple premise. A film told through actions. A mystery that is partially left unsolved but gives everything it has. Because it's a film that felt complete. People have no idea that a movie like this, a movie like Overlord, a movie so black and white, doesn't have to have subtext. Overlord is an experience because it takes the war movie motifs and really makes it as appropriate and as serious as possible, yet is able to shift the dynamics into an almost horror, gore-filled mess that works because, again, it's a war movie. There's never a road it doesn't take, and would rather show the reality of war without feeling like it's being edgy. We get thrown into the action very early in the eve of D-Day as these planes fly out and people are falling out of the planes and there's explosions. It's bombastic. It's amazing. And yet never felt like it slowed down after that. There's always something happening that propels the plot forward. Smaller, slower scenes that have that exposition or have those character moments were all necessary, but always move the plot forward. Never did I feel bored when the heroes were planning an attack, nor was that romantic subplot ever boggled down to cliches. The acting also sells much of what is done on screen. And I think the choice of getting a full cast of lesser-known actors for a general audience was a great choice. I didn't even know anyone besides Wyatt Russell in this movie, yet they all played their part, and they were familiar with the war archetype that they were playing without ever hamming up their role or chewing the scenery. And I think that's why this film is such a straight line, that it really is hard to criticize right now. Because everyone does their job. The writers do their job. The actors do their job. The director does their job. Everything comes together. That's what a movie is. Bringing all these things to come together. And the score really propels the tension and sense of mystery that really felt appropriate. It wasn't in the way like loud and very cheesy, and there was never a moment where it wasn't necessary. And for as bombastic and exciting as it was toward each scene that it was in, there were quite the times that really bring out the sounds of machine guns, blood gushing out, and explosions. Nothing ever drowned itself out at that point. And that should be the gold standard that Michael Bay should be taking notes from. There's no stupid mystery box or lore that you need to read, nor are there scenes dedicated to making the movie more than it is. This is not a Cloverfield clusterfuck. There's never a scene that tries to look at war, Nazis, politics, or anything else that doesn't help the story that they're telling. Every character is open and closed by the end of the film, complete character arcs. And it felt good knowing that there was no pressure of a sequel from the middle to the end. No hints of that. Overlord does everything perfect to make a simple, entertaining movie. And I gotta tell you, ever since Rampage, I didn't think there was going to be a movie like this that could be fun, have no bullshit, have no executive compromises that boggle the story, and stray too far or fall short from the narrative they established. 6 stars out of 6. I can't wait to see it again. Yes, every film goer, a month before Christmas, loved Illumination's The Grinch a lot. But Jay, who lived south of Chicago, did not. Every creative endeavor Illumination has wrought felt like millions of dollars paying to see a baby produce snot. Copied assets, simple designs at its most simple, you would think that their humor would be at least equal to Jimmy Kimmel. Like the Lorax, expect the plot to deliver a theme of giving or caring for others, while also selling its precious merchandise made from sweatshops of single mothers. The story of the Grinch has reached the adaptation cycle enough to make the Christmas Carol blush, and you would think a company like this with enough money would create at least a decent distraction in a time crunch. Instead, the plot is mangled up from Jim Carrey's The Grinch and most of the original cartoon adaptation of 1966, yet watered down and simplified to pander and go through the motions and simple emotional conflicts. Of course, The Grinch steals Christmas and meets Cindy Lou, and yet we are to spend $10 to watch Pharrell Williams narrate the script as if it were new? Speaking of script, Benedict Cumberbatch really phoned it in for a pretty cent, as if I'm supposed to be impressed with his Dr. House accent. The charm is there and the creativity in its cartoonish and stylistic flair, yet it feels empty and void, with nothing new to spare. And the one thing I can't stand is the noise. The old memes and the memes. It's just so old. Memes and memes. The screaming goat is the least of what to expect from the gluttony of a marketing feast. Tyler, the creator, makes a serviceable few tracks on the original theme. If you consider rearranging words to a song, new and clean, and get ready to check off the manipulation of emotions by the clever writers at the creative studio of Illumination. Relatable mom character, a wannabe Gru, and a cute little dog to make sure you knew this was all for you. I really wasn't expecting too much out of a film from such a studio, yet the downtime from every gag and laugh felt so strange. It's as if the cynical producers and stockbrokers are truly aware of what they're doing. And maybe it really is time to change. Illumination is not all bad, and they've been able to make small movies that work to make my heart grow 2 sizes each time. But the money has blinded them, and they know what their formula is an easy dime. So sure, your kids will be distracted and shouting out of their seat. But just know, I'm sure there will be better work out there in December on any week. The fact that it took 2 directors to really make this a copy and paste makes me feel the soulless droves of talent that is just going to waste. With 3 stars out of 6, I hope no one is surprised, but maybe consider watching this on DVD like every other guy. Alright, enough of the rhyming and all that other crap. This is just a quick announcement. I just wanted to make a huge shout out to Bruno El Nino Rata, aka Vicky Labor. Definitely check out his channel. I'll put it right there on the link below in the description. I just wanted to thank him for making
correction about my last video on the trailer reaction for Missing Link, Spies in Disguise, Secret Life of Pets 2, and Ugly Dolls. He corrected me when he let me know that, yeah, Ugly Dolls is made by STX Entertainment. It's one of their first animated features, not by Illumination, which I completely made about during that reaction. And I just want to apologize for that. I definitely should have fact checked that instead of making a tirade of hate and then not clarifying that information later in the review, which is a shame. But yeah, definitely my bad on my part. I'll try better to make sure I clarify the information like that. But thank you so much, and yeah, have a good, happy holiday, even though we have another month. Thanks, Grinch.